Do you see this where Mark Cuban says AI agents are going to cut workdays down by an hour?
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. So Mark Cuban frames AI agents as a lever for smart companies, in quotes, smart companies to cut workdays while keeping output high. So like if you're a small business owner, if you're hiring or scheduling around the old 8-hour workday assumptions, AI agent assisted workflows may change what full capacity looks like. When I read this article, I immediately thought of the Industrial Revolution, and I went down a bit of a rabbit hole to see if the Industrial Revolution actually cut workdays in half. And what I found is actually pretty interesting. Ultimately, the Industrial Revolution did cut hours, but it wasn't because of productivity directly, and it wasn't the business's decisions ultimately. So the hour cut, so it used to be, you have a bunch of people doing manual tasks and their workday would essentially be like 12 hours. And big companies, if you had some kind of manufacturing plant, you would essentially build a city for all of your employees to come live at. And they would, work 12 hours and it would be like 7 days a week, 6 days a week, until the Industrial Revolution came and these plants were able to enable these employees to work faster and get more done, gave the employees more leverage. And so where the actual workday cut happened was through like unions and human rights activists. So it wasn't the companies like Mark Cuban saying here, smart companies will cut work days. The companies are going to, wring out as much productivity as they can. And you're already hearing it around the offices where, AI is not going to make you work less. It just means we can get more done in an 8-hour workday. And so, and I came across a study. Let's see if I can find it real quick. There was someone that actually went out and did a study to find the optimal workday time, and they came to 8 hours. So that's how we landed on the 8-hour workday, and that was probably sponsored by the human rights people and the unions. Where a union is just like a bunch of employees paying into a group of lawyers, pretty much, from what I understand. But the difference now is, it used to be the new technology would replace physical labor and humans were still needed for like coordination, decision-making, management. They owned deadlines, they owned a lot of stuff, but now the cognitive labor that is can be assisted or replaced by writing code or putting that on an AI agent. And so now it's interesting to see what will be replaced that these people are doing 8 hours a day, and if it will actually cut the workday. Like, will the workday be 7 hours? Will it be 4 hours in like 20 years because AI is doing more? Or will it turn into, there's a lot more small businesses and they're actually working more hours because they have more responsibility, because each employee has more leverage than they have. And their cognitive workers are not so much physical workers. It was really easy for people to say, we need to work less because after 8 hours, we're exhausted and we make worse decisions and get hurt. Now it's, I did write in here in my thoughts that, a person getting hurt because they're using machinery wrong because they're tired is one thing. And, dismemberment or loss of life is really bad. But where the companies are really going to notice the taxing on a long work day or giving people more responsibility is the higher leverage work that people are doing. And so if somebody gets hurt, it does affect the business. And I'm going to come off bad here, but this is just my thought. Like, when somebody gets hurt or dies, the business kind of feels that, but they replace them. But whenever one person is in charge of something and it fails and it loses the company millions of dollars, then the company is going to feel that more. Of course, there's lawsuits and stuff involved with people getting hurt at work. And so maybe that is a little bit of the commonality. Like the companies will start actually listening and changing work hours when it starts affecting the bottom line of profits. And so it's going to be interesting. We're going to be delegating a lot of work to AI. People are going to have more responsibility because they're in charge, like one person or three people are in charge of like a whole wing of the business now because they're orchestrating agents. But then like when those agents fail, it's going to fail in a huge way. Instead of maybe shutting down part of a factory, you could lose millions of dollars by shutting down a whole revenue center. And so I think the companies are going to feel the pain of delegating so much to AI. And so I'm interested to see what this actually does to the workday. I don't see it making it shorter. It's maybe because I'm conditioned to think the 8-hour workday is normal. I just don't see the workday being a 4-hour workday at any kind of business personally. I just see it like you go to work until your work is done, but there's so many opportunities that the work is never done. So you got to cut it off at some point.
Yeah, there's no chance. I think if you're working for someone, we'll just say like public companies, they're not going to just cut hours and be like, you did enough today, go home,
Yeah.
go home early. They're going to say, oh, good job. Let's do a little bit more.
Yeah.
There's no way they're going to reduce the hours without reducing pay or something else.
Yeah. I think there's a couple of companies that are going to be more forward. Like we've seen the movement of unlimited PTO where a company advertises, we don't have like you work this many hours and get this many hours PTO. It's just, you need days off, you'd get days off. But I see that I get a little weary of that or a little suspicious of that because then whenever PTO is completely your time or your decision, your manager, your CEO is like, well, I haven't taken a vacation day in 3 years. It's like, why would you take yours? And so there's some weird stuff when it comes to like there is no set work schedule or yeah, you can leave early if you want to. I'm just letting you know. I'm working extra. Why would you not work extra? Even though our policy to get you in the door was to say, we only do 4-hour work days and we only unlimited PTO. Like, what does it actually do to the culture in business?
Yeah, like it can lead to more of a social pressure for you to end up working more. I think like in China right now, I think I saw a documentary talking about they technically have 8-hour work days, but they end up working 12 at minimum hours because you can't be, you got to be some of the first people in the office and the last to leave. Otherwise, you are not looking good in the eyes of management there.
Yeah. My experience, like people are still working long hours, like if not more, like more people are excited to work and get things done. More people are, trying things at home and taking on pet projects and stuff. And so I just don't see how a company can shorten the work day and whenever it comes, time like, do I give this person who works 7 days or 7 hours a day, and that's our policy? How do I choose that person over a person who's putting in, 10 hours a day for a promotion? Like obviously one of them cares more and is probably being more productive. And so I have just seen like it doesn't matter what the work schedule is. There's always going to be people putting in extra time, and those people that put in extra time, believe it or not, you put in more effort, you get more work done, and you get more work done, you make more money, or you get what you want because you actually do the work. So I just don't see the actual workday getting shorter because there's more competition now. These companies are going to have to provide more value, and I don't think you can do that. I just don't think you can do everything that needs to be done by working less.
Yeah. No, I think I agree with that. I think, yeah, I mean, it does like, in my experience, I feel like it's taken a lot of the kind of administrative work off my plate, but that doesn't reduce the workload. That just lets me get to the work I actually need to do sooner. And there's plenty of that work that needs to be done. So there's no way cutting the hours would help get that work done faster.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have a segment on it, but that last paragraph in this article talking about AI brain fry, that's something interesting that we should get into.
Yeah. What does that go into that?
All right. So there's a study published in the Harvard Business Review that basically just says employees are experiencing AI brain fry, which is mental fog from using too many AI's tools at once.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
it's exhausting.
From context switching to just having to take in way too much information, you just can't keep up. Like humans have so much capacity. Like we have to just work higher than in those small decisions. You have to build in systems and build in software that can do things for you so that you can focus on one small thing, and build in some kind of process that, yeah, makes your brain not fry. Cause I definitely feel that like writing code, it's like whenever you can get 50 new changes of code in less than 2 minutes, it's exhausting. And so the work, we're going to have to just start trusting the output. The work is going to be in the planning and testing. And yeah, AI brain fry is definitely a thing for sure.
Yeah, I feel like if you blindly trust the AI and the output that it's providing, then it can free up a lot of mental space. But if you're still verifying every change that it makes, that you end up spending more mental energy than just focusing on one task and seeing it through. So it kind of has like the opposite effect, I feel like. And maybe productivity actually slows down once you start using a lot of the tools.
Yeah, I mean, we have org charts in businesses for a reason, right? There you have one person that is managing 5 people, and then those 5 people have their own 5 people. It's because you can only take on so much responsibility, and you have to delegate what isn't, your immediate responsibility. And sometimes your responsibility is managing the people actually getting the work done. And so now our responsibility for a lot of knowledge workers is going to be managing, five agents that have this little sub group in the business. And so it's definitely going to, like, just the way work is going to just change. And for the workday to shorten, it's going to take some kind of like legislation essentially, because the only way that happened with the industrial revolution was, people starting unions, people lobbying and trying to get these things in place. And ultimately, if people are getting, the brain fried because you're working on so many things, maybe the workday doesn't need to be shorter, or maybe just the work standard changes where it's in spurts of like 2 hours at a time, 3 hours at a time. Maybe there is no work schedule. Maybe it's more of, a communication window, or you have meetings and then the rest of your time is up to you and you just have to communicate, when you're working on what. But people are going to have more responsibility and it's going to cause more stress. And also, like, the competition's never been more than it is now. So it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of focus from people. And I think the people willing to do that are going to win, not the people who uh, get burnt out super quick or can't fight through the burnout. Like, they'll have their place as, like, you know, base level employees maybe, but I think the base level employee thing is leaving. Like, the bottom of the org chart is going to get cut in the next 20 years. And
Yeah.
so,
You have to be able to add more value than one agent can add, or why would someone pay you?
right. Yeah. Leverage. You have to provide leverage. And I think it's going to be like very similar to, like, you go to anywhere that has more than 10 software engineers or any kind of knowledge worker, and they're like sitting at a computer trying to solve a problem. It's like now that person is in charge of 5 problems and they can only do one at a time. And I think, yeah, it's gonna be different. It's not gonna be less work. I think maybe it'll be more freedom in work, but like the traditional 8 hour a day thing isn't gonna change for a while, and I don't know what it's gonna look like after it goes away.
Yeah. Yeah. We will see. I don't think most companies have ever cut hours or anything until they were kind of legally had to.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what percentage, but there is a percentage of places that did like the 4 day work week. But again, that's usually 4 10s,
Yeah. So
14-hour shifts. And that's attractive to people. There are people with the unlimited PTO, and it's all just it's a recruiting method. It's like a way to get people to work for you because you see a return on your investment on people. So definitely work perks are going to get better. And I think, the work life, not so much work life balance, but work life blend is going to take place. Much like I always try to say, like, the farmer who just owned a farm and just had to get the crop out every year. Like, it didn't matter what was going on in life. Like, you don't eat that winter or you don't make any money if you don't have produce to take to market. It's like every village has a bunch of those. It's like the economies might be built with more of those. There's the big companies providing big services, but then everyone's going to have to find a value that they provide. For you to be able to do that, it's going to be like a work-life blend where it's not an 8 hour workday. It's I work until I get the stuff done. And whenever the stuff's done, then I can rest and whatever. Because again, I think there still will be the normal employee thing. I think there's going to be less of them because if you cut the bottom of the org chart, like, things just change. And I do firmly believe in the next 5 to 10 years, the bottom of the org chart, what it looks like now, the people doing the work. If you imagine a tree, the leaves are the very end. If the org chart is a tree, the leaves at the very end are going to get cut off. And And so if you're in that spot, you got to find a way to provide more value than you are now. And all that to go back to, I don't think AI is going to shorten the workday anytime soon. If it does, it's going to be because of a work-life blend. There's no 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. It's like you have this responsibility, and that's why you get paid a salary type
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, which might be more tiring because you can never turn off the work brain.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
exciting.
All right. Well, that was today's episode of Infacto Daily. If you are a small business owner and you are interested in where AI fits into your business, come back tomorrow. We're talking about AI, tech news, small business news daily, every weekday. And if you're a small business owner looking to see where AI fits in your business specifically, go to infactodigital.com. You'll see a banner at the top of the webpage talking about our free AI for small business webinar, where we go through case studies, real use cases where AI fits into the small business workflow. And if you would like AI news in your inbox daily, you can join the Infacto Daily newsletter, which is also at infactodigital.com. All right, Jackson, see you tomorrow.
See ya.